Hi, my name is Matt Kendricks. I'm the project lead for dSIPRouter. So today I'm on here to talk about a new released version of the dSIPRouter CLI. Now, many of you don't use this CLI because it had a very limited, narrow use case. But now we've extended it to be able to support a number of the API inside of dSIPRouter. And we will continue to iterate on it over time. Now, it's not perfect. It has its issues, but we are committed to making it better. Now, the reason why we built this, the main reason is for our support team, right? So when our support team needs to, help or support or try and figure out an issue with dSIPRouter, a lot of times we need to get access to the UI, or we're going right at the actual database configurations. So, this really gives us the ability to really look at a dSIPRouter instance when we log on to the box, or even remotely, by using just this Go executable, which is written in Golang. So let's kind of I'll walk you through the repo. We just made it public today. So let's kind of jump into it. So this is the repo. So the dSIPRouter repo is this the open source dSIPRouter, but this one is actually dSIPRouter-CLI. So there's a README that explains pretty much how you can compile it. There's some pre-built binaries on here. If you go to the releases page here, we've built it for Mac OS, Linux, and Windows. In order to use it, you'll need to have a dSIPRouter token and a dSIPRouter host name set. So these can be set from environmental variables, or you can actually set them with actual flags that we actually have on the CLI itself. If you don't remember your dSIPRouter API key, you can actually reset it by running this command here, dSIPRouter set credentials -AC, your new token, whatever you want to call that or name that token. This is a list of some of the commands you can do inside of the new CLI. You can actually get stats on Chameleon. You can reload the actual services that we have going on, endpoint leases, endpoint groups, inbound mapping of DIDs. Carrier groups is also supported. We just don't have it listed on here. We'll get that fixed as well. This is a module that we've had for a while. We really don't talk about it much. It was really built for a unique use case, but it actually fits in. It's called number enrichment. And I'll come back and we'll do a segment on that later. Also called detail records, certificates, backup and restore, system utilities, Microsoft Teams integration, and then notifications here. This one's kind of an internal one that we kind of exposed to folks, for you can do notifications against a gateway group for one reason or another. And I'll talk about that at a later time as well. Now, by default, it outputs all the data in a table. You also can have it output in JSON as well. There's a API reference that lays out what APIs this particular command is leveraging in the background, and then where our documentation is and things of that nature. So everything is here. So let's kind of get into and run it really quickly, just so you'll see what things you could potentially do with this. All right. So a couple of different things. So if you just type in, dSIPRouter CLI and you just hit tab, there's if you install the autocompletes, which comes with the actual product itself, you can actually use the autocomplete functionality of the command, so that way you don't have to remember all of the subcommands in order to type. So and one thing to call out is that all the subcommands are the completion, can be installed by going dSIPRouter -CLI completion, and you can just do -H and you can see that you can generate the auto completion script for Bash, Fish, PowerShell, and Z Shell as well. So you can install those in your prospective terminals. Now, the thing I want to do really quickly is just go through some of the commands that I think are pretty useful. Some of the common ones is endpoint groups. So I can say dSIPRouter, CLI, endpoint group, and then just do a list. So I can get a list of those endpoint groups. If I actually want to get a particular endpoint group, I can actually just put down get and then the number of the endpoint group. Right. So in this case, we see the endpoint group 17 was found, the name of the endpoint group, the type of authentication, the password, username, the type is there, call settings, and then the endpoints that this particular endpoint group is what's defined for it. Now, if I want to, you can see all the commands. I won't go through them all because each one of them has their own list. But if you actually, enter in a subcommand and type in -H, you will be able to see all the available commands. So it's a create, a delete. We just did a get, a list, and then also an update. I'll warn you on an update. There's a couple of things that we need to resolve, not on the CLI, but on the API itself in dSIPRouter. So we'll be pushing a update to the main branch shortly. And also, I must note that in order to use the dSIPRouter CLI, you'll also need a core license in order to get access to the CLI. So just wanted to throw that out there as well. The other thing here is that carrier groups is another one, and I just hit tab twice. And that brought up the list there. But if you just keep hitting tab, you can kind of go through all the ones there. But I'm just going to do another list, and you can see all of them here. And actually, it shows up kind of weird because I have my screen super big here. But if you don't want to, if it's hard for you to see that way in some cases, you can just output it as JSON. And so you can actually see it in JSON format as well, which is much easier to process too, if you want to use something like JQ to process it. The other one that I think is interesting is also CDR. So I can actually give it the endpoint group, and it will actually give me all of the CDRs for a particular endpoint group. So I'm going to do endpoint group 17. Again, this is, looks kind of messy here because there's a lot of columns for the CDR, but you also can do a -O for JSON, and then you can see what it looks like here. So I think sometimes this is super useful to be able to figure out if a call went through, and doing it this way so that you can see it in JSON makes it a lot easier to, to look at and see issues. So I think that's pretty cool. You don't have to log into the UI or go to the database in order to view this information as well. All right, let's go see what other commands that we'll do another list here, and we'll see what else we do. Okay, let's also look at the Chameleon subcommand here. If you wanted to get stats on Chameleon, you can. So you can see this, and again, you can output it in JSON as well, right? So let's see, what else do we have here that's of interest? There's a lot, obviously inbound mappings. So if you have DIDs, in this instance, I don't think I have any. Oh, I do. Okay, I do have an inbound mapping there. So you can see that it shows the DID is found, the name of it, and then the rule which associates with the ID of the rule, and then server. So if I wanted to tie it to, in this case, this DID isn't tied to a server, but if it was, it will show it there as well. So yeah, I just wanted to do a quick review or overview of of this new dSIPRouter CLI tool. We'll be using it or updating it over time to make it better, have more features, make it easier to kind of do these things. Because I think, if you wanted to be able to script out certain things, we wanted this tool to be that tool so that you can do it easily. You don't have to worry about, formatting a number of different, API requests in order to do certain things. So we're just trying to make it a little easier. Is it perfect? Again, no, not yet. Will we get it there? Sure. But I at least wanted to come on and kind of talk through that. All right. So, thank you for listening to this video about our new version of the dSIPRouter CLI. Talk to you soon. Take care.